say to the Trump.
You got some stuff to say to the Trump.
President Trump.
Well, let's just get this thing started then.
Oh, we started?
Yeah, welcome to episode 16.
You tricked
Uh,
us.
surprise! Got him. And yes, I am day drinking, by the way. Hurricanes are being served over here.
Okay, it's going to be interesting.
In the
Nice.
next door office. So this is only my second one.
Uh-oh.
So we'll have 3, 4, and 5 once we're done.
He's only category 2 right now.
Only a cat 2.
You know there is a philosophy behind hurricanes and women. I think I told you guys before. And since you're saying he's only a category 2,
No, do share.
Yeah.
that all women are hurricanes, really. And in life, you have to kind of figure out if it's a category 1, 2, where you just batten down the hatches and ride out the storm, or if it's a category 4 or 5 and you just need to pack your stuff and GTFO.
That's pretty cool.
So
That is good to
that's,
know.
That's actually a good philosophy of
It is.
relationships in general. It doesn't matter
It's
gender
true.
at all. Yeah,
Mhm.
I mean, you gotta rank your
Man, did you come up with that
categories.
yourself?
oh no, but I don't remember.
Take
who,
credit.
Yeah, that's all new girl.
I don't remember who
New
who
girlology.
told me. It's been a few years since
I like it.
I've heard it, but it is true in life.
Yeah, it's
Generally,
for people, just a general assessment of people.
yeah.
Yeah.
'Cause,
Shit, we could probably take it to business and employment and work and
Truth.
everything, right?
Truth.
Yeah.
Expand.
Yeah, I mean, just looking at it, even the clients. What category hurricane are they worth standing around for? We just say, you know what, it doesn't matter how much money you're going to give me, it's not worth
Yeah,
it.
it ain't worth it. We ain't
You're
doing
in a
it.
meeting, you're looking at each other, and you're like, he's a 4.
Yeah.
He's a 4.
Let's get out of
Pack
here.
up.
Thank you for having us today. We'll be looking forward to hearing from you, quote unquote.
Oh, man.
Winds are picking up.
Yeah.
Have code names.
No, the warning sign. Whoop whoop. Whoop, whoop.
Sandbag!
Oh, I love it, man. Oh
So
man.
what's going on? It's been a while since we've all been together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. What is going on? Who's got the newest, latest, and greatest stuff? I think my man Shrek. He had a fantastic weekend. I heard.
Niagara Falls, man.
Oh, yeah?
Ooh.
I always wanted to go there.
Me too.
How was it?
I'll put it to you this way.
Mm.
There's 2 completely different experiences depending on the New York side or the Canadian side. Canadian side, very nice gardens, everything, sidewalks, everything's real nice. Feels way too overcrowded, with almost like tourist trap type Vegas feel. It's like walking out into the boardwalk and it's just droves and droves of people.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll tell you, they are some ignorant ass people.
I hear it's a really great experience if you obey the signs. Like, a lot of people just don't obey the signs.
Yeah,
Like,
well, what do you mean in terms
meaning
of
like, don't go past this point. No selfies on the ledge, or you know. Or,
Oh yeah, well yeah. You don't want to go
You
take a
know.
nosedive into that water rapids.
Could be a problem.
Splash.
slippery when wet, like you know, all these signs, and the people just don't obey.
Well, I mean that's anywhere you go. People are going to be
Goofballs.
goofballs. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's probably the best. Now look, when I say the people were just like unbearable,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not talking
That
about.
many people.
Well, I'm talking about some of the personalities that were there.
Oh, okay.
The people who live there, like all the people from Ontario and all, nicest people. Like I've never had greater service in every one of like those service type jobs.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how the hell they're so happy all the time. Well, because they got that great view too. But dealing with some of the shitheads that they have to deal with,
I can imagine.
and I don't know where. I'm not going to say where people I thought they were from. But a lot of people acted
Be
like
prepared for
a lot of
Handsome
people.
Shrek to
A lot
give
of
you some
people acted like they didn't understand or speak English.
Oh.
So whether or not they were from a lot of people coming from Europe or maybe in the like French Quebec area, but they would
we
ignore.
just lost all our French fans.
Oh, well, look,
We love them too.
we love you. We love you. I'm just saying, if there's a line of 200 people waiting to get into a lift to take you down to the bottom of the falls, you don't just, I don't understand what's going on, let me cut right in front of the line.
That game.
Because lines are lines, like you, no matter what.
Yeah.
Or, I'm sitting here, I'm on vacation, and you're my servant serving me my food. I'll give you whatever change is left over after the bill, instead of actually giving a real tip. I'm like, man, some of these people are some shitheads, man.
Well, unfortunately, that could be a part of where they're from. In some places, it's just not. You just don't tip.
Don't tip.
Not custom for tips. Large tips.
Like, actually, I think it's against the law to tip. So
it might be.
They could use that as an excuse.
Yeah.
I could also use that as an excuse, but I don't.
I'm just saying, if you have like $100,
tipping is tricky though, because say I go and pick up my food. Say I order my food.
I'm talking sit down restaurant though.
Okay.
But this is a conversation though. This is a good.
So I go order my food.
Yep.
And I go pick up my food from the bartender. So the bartender, grabs some food. Am I supposed to tip her?
My daughter says yes. She works at a restaurant. She's a hostess, and
so
she says
always.
yes.
For just grabbing my.
Yes. That's what I said.
I always, because I look at it as a tip on whatever it is, a tip on the price that I paid. So whoever that tip goes to, does it go to the person who prepared it? Does it go to the person who took the order on the phone? Does it go to the person who picked it, who actually went and got it from the back and brought it to me?
Well, see,
it's all a part of the same thing.
I'm with you. I haven't even answered yet.
My funds are low. And say I have $10 to my name and I'm hungry and my food costs $9.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm thinking, well, I'm not going to sit here and tip because, they're providing a service,
right.
They give them this and that.
Filling your drinks and bringing your food.
So when I go to the bar and I pick up my food and I pay for my food, I still feel some kind of way, but I think I shouldn't have to feel that kind of way. I think, that's why I did that, because I don't have a lot of money. I
don't feel like sitting down right now and paying for the full experience.
I don't have a lot of money there. But I'm hungry.
Right.
So, I don't know.
I feel like that's a topic where people draw their line at different spots. The line where I draw it, where I start the tip and stop the tip, is if it's a place that is a carry out or delivery, and I don't do delivery and I drive myself to the place, I don't think you are deserving of a tip because I'm paying for the food at the price of the food.
Now, the other thing I always say is this a place that you frequent often? Because if it's a place that you frequent often,
well, then
then it builds upon itself. If you take care of them, they will in turn take care of you.
Not always, but
I mean,
that's your point.
You don't get taken care of?
No.
Oh,
that's like
oh.
the method of, you go into a bar, you're not going to be there at the bar for a while. First time the bartender brings you a drink, you go, here's a $20 tip, and that's your tip for the day. And you're going to be there for a while. You might only get 2 or 3, 4, 5, 6 more drinks, but you're not tipping every single time.
Right.
Well, if you lay down a 20,
then
chances are you're getting. They're going to come make sure you're
going to
all
get taken care of.
So for us,
100%.
last week at Deep Creek, we rented a boat for 2 days, and we ended up having to go back because we had an alarm sound on the boat the first day we rented it, and they had to swap out the boats, and then we ended up having to go back and get gas the next day in the morning, and then eventually returning the boat, filling the gas tank back up, and then, you pull up to the side, they tie you up. He actually took all of the stuff off of the one boat and put it onto the other boat, and got everything off of it, and then he also pumped the gas. Now I think only they can pump the gas because you're at the water and they don't want a dummy like me who maybe overfills the boat and you're floating the bay.
How far were you out though when the alarm went off? Were you guys out pretty far?
We were a good amount out.
So did you guys
but I was not afraid.
You were?
Heck no. No, but see, I've been on boats for years.
Okay.
This is nothing.
My dad probably bought it. I was probably 20 when my dad bought his first boat. So he had a jet boat and a fishing boat. He's had several jet boats.
So everyone was calm with this alarm.
Troy was freaking out a little bit. I don't think kids always react to stuff like that. I don't think he was freaking out. He goes into protective mode of I have my family on this boat and we're in this water out here.
Yeah.
And so I don't mean freaking out because he wasn't freaking out. He was very calm. But there was a sense of urgency for him that was not there for me. Okay. But I can also... Well, no, I mean, there was a flare gun on there. Okay. Like, there are tons of boats around.
Give me some driftwood and a paddle, I'll be fine.
We could have waved someone down. They would have towed us it. Like there's a camaraderie generally. Now, you have your jerks, too. But there's a camaraderie on the water. Okay. My father has towed many a jet ski and many a boat. And we have also been towed on a jet ski and on a boat. So, there's this, like, understood, nobody wants anyone stranded out in the water. So I knew someone. We would just have to wave someone down. Someone would tow us to the place.
And everything would be fine.
They'd go tell them that we were out there. They'd send a boat out. Like, I knew we weren't going to. We had snacks and drinks. And so, like, so he swiped it. But I see a sign in the window. Not the first time when we switched the boats, but when we got gas for the first time. Gratuity appreciated. And I'm like, oh, are we supposed to tip them like every time they like do something on the boat? And like, I didn't know. I'm horrible when it comes to stuff like that. I never know who you're supposed to tip and who you don't tip when it comes to even outside of food.
How much you're supposed to.
Well, and that's the thing, because you don't know what people are making, but you understand. It's a general understanding that people in the service business aren't getting paid their salaries based on tips. They're basically getting paid less than minimum wage, and their livelihood's based on the tips. And you withholding a tip is you taking food out of their kids.
Okay, so say if they provide a horrible service for you, well, you still tip them.
I tip them a very minimal amount to where it's like you still get a tip, but you will understand that I was not satisfied with your service.
But also, if food comes back and it's not cooked properly, that's not the server's fault. That's the cook's fault.
What I've done in the past, and I still do it, is I write notes on the receipt or anything that I sign. So I write notes both ways though. So I write notes if there is bad service or there's something that needs to be addressed, or if I get over the top great service. Also write that as well, because just little things, just little notes to hopefully make someone's day.
And it helps management anyway, either way. It helps them see what things they may need to address or improve on, but it also sets an employee who's exceptional and they're sometimes rare, but it sets them aside because they now have it on paper that they did a great job. And that's that's really smart.
Yeah,
actually.
Yeah. Good stuff.
Implementing that.
But I don't tip when I pick up either. And my daughter was like, you don't tip? I'm like, all she did was carry the food over here. She didn't cook it. Like, she didn't have to bring me drinks or, whatever. So, I don't know if that'll be. But now I'm seeing what you're saying about taking care of them and they take care of you sort of thing. So, I don't know.
I think it's all...
But see, I'm also the person that when I had to have a little extra money... because I know what it's like to struggle. Zach and I, not to toot my own horn because I don't want to do that, but there was a woman who had Love You More tattooed on her arm, and my son and I had this Love You the Most, this game we play every day, and whoever says it first wins. So we noticed it, so we pointed it out, and it had something to do with her mother, but her mother had passed like 2 months before, and she had a little daughter, and I just remember my mom taking my kids to like McDonald's or like Chick-fil-A. My kids love going to my parents' house. And that this poor girl, and she was in her mid to late 20s, wouldn't be able to do that. So I tipped her extra, and I gave it to her in cash. And I wrote a little note on the receipt, take your daughter out from your mom, on the receipt. We tried to sneak out before she could catch us.
Yeah.
But she ran out of the restaurant, like in tears, like that it was so sweet. And so I also do that on, my mom has done the same thing.
Yeah.
Just if I can, to bless someone who maybe just needs a blessing that day. So
what about like homeless people and people, like with signs and can you help me? See, $1 here.
That's a tough, sticky situation because I'll use an example when Dante and I were both at a convention in Indy.
Was that the one with all the girls and? that you guys.
Cut Mike. Cut his mic.
It was the Beachbody.
Oh, okay.
It was the Beachbody event. Where yes, Dante was up there. Was up there on stage with Autumn Calabrese.
Oh, okay.
But
do tell.
But no, it's one of those things where
We'll talk about that in another episode.
You
gotta come back for that.
We showed up at this place. What did we come in, a day or 2 days before the thing started?
We typically come in a day before.
Yeah, I forget what it was.
Just get settled up.
It was like a day and a half early. So really, no convention was really going on. Not a whole lot of people there. And there was maybe 1 or 2 people that you could tell actually were homeless, were hungry, and were like legit. Like they were legitimately homeless and struggling. But then right in like 2-3 days later, I shit you not, there was about 15 on one street. Right? I mean, they're walking around wearing just, I mean, they kind of look like they could be homeless, but at the same time, it's like, I don't know if I buy this. It's like, what, you just came in for the convention?
They came in with the convention, you know? It was really weird just to see that dynamic. It's like, okay, you weren't here yesterday. Like, where were you yesterday?
Staying.
So you're a little hesitant in tipping those that you thought were fraudulent or
exactly. Now
we
we gave our leftover food to the first night we were there to someone who was definitely in need.
Yeah, we took care of them. They had some nice wings that night.
All right, good.
Mm-hmm.
I have 2 thoughts on it.
Okay.
And I feel different. And you know what? It changes. It doesn't stay the same.
Mm-hmm.
But I have a super sensitive heart that sometimes overrides my brain. If it's a younger person, I came from nothing. I've babysat before I worked, and I've had a job since I was 15. My parents never handed me the credit card and bought me clothes. I bought my own car. Every car I've owned, I've bought on my own. I pay my own car insurance since I started driving. When I needed cheer stuff for high school, I had to work and buy it myself. My parents couldn't afford it. So when I see young people, I think you can get a job. There's no reason. Mm-hmm. There's no reason why you can't get a job. And sometimes not. Sometimes, like, I don't know. I just feel for them. Mm-hmm. I struggle with it because I've worked hard. Just in general with any of them. But my heart goes out to people because regardless of what I think and what I did, they're still struggling and they're still without.
Right.
And there was an incident where I took the kids to an Orioles game and there was a gentleman sitting by one of the poles. He wouldn't look up at anyone. He was obviously homeless. Not asking people for money, but was sitting there. I can't remember if he had a sign. I don't even think he had a sign. But you could tell he was homeless. And my daughter got very emotional seeing him there without a sign or him really panhandling. I mean, I'm sure he was there for people to see, but he would not look up at anyone either and make eye contact. And she got so emotional getting out of the car that I gave her money, and she didn't want to take it to him. And I said, no, you're upset about this.
Right.
You hand him the money. And she walked over to him, and he was still afraid, and she handed him money, and he looked up, and he just had this look of just gratefulness to my daughter. And both of my kids cried the whole way to the park. Mm. And so there are moments when I feel like we have to have compassion for people, even if we don't agree, or we think you should get up and go get a job, like you're capable. But there's an element of compassion where does it really matter how they got where they got? They don't have, and we have.
Right.
And so, but I struggle with it.
I struggle too because every day, and I mean just about every day, I encounter at least 4 or 5 asking me for money. I mean, sometimes I just want to go to the grocery store, come out of the grocery store, I'm harassed. I feel as though it's harassment because it's like, for crying out loud, I mean, I get it, but I had struggles just as well. Mm-hmm. My struggles was just as real, and I did something about it.
Yes.
And then when you go to work every day, and it's not like I'm the happiest person getting up in the morning going to work. It's something I have to do to keep food on the table.
Because you want to live in a house and have food to eat.
And I'm right.
And you don't want to have to be on the corner.
I mean, just going to the 7-Eleven, it becomes exhausting for me. I mean, like mentally.
I understand. Yeah.
I go through the whole compassion
yes.
thing, and then I'm angry sometimes.
Yes.
And then there's those
There's
that
some
really
guilt
there's a guilt.
That you drove by and you didn't give
Yes,
something. And
yes,
you're like,
that one.
And then there's times where I really kind of break down, and I have to have a conversation with myself and say, Nate, you can at least give $1. You spend that on any like random, just stupid stuff. But I don't want to have to feel. I don't think I should have to feel that way. It's like a struggle within myself, and I think sometimes it's just unfair.
Yeah, it gets overwhelming for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah. For sure.
I think here's because I gotta get out of here. I got a 1 o'clock meeting, but
Lame.
sorry. One of the things that I find super, or not interesting, but that I appreciate is when it's not forced. Like, hey, I'm gonna try to guilt trip you and or harass you to give me money because I have a sign that says I'm homeless. I'm like, give me money. I appreciate. I've seen it was in DC where the guy had a sign set up. He's like, I'm homeless. I have my dog right here. If you please, there's the thing. Leave me donations. But I'm just gonna play some street instruments he made out of they were paint buckets or something. And he was doing something. It was actually entertaining. The guy was really good. He's like, I'm homeless and struggling. If you can give you anything that you think I deserve. I mean, in a way, he's working without even having a actual job.
I can see that.
Go ahead.
But there's one other incident where this guy, and I see him like on a daily basis, and he has his child who has about 7, the mother, and they dingy clothes, and I know it's some kind of drug thing that they probably got him to that point.
Mm-hmm.
But when you drag your kid out there, I literally wanted to fight the guy. I'm like, yeah, that's just going too far. You should not subject him, the child, to that. If he needs to go into a shelter or something or whatever, get some help, you help that child. But to bring him out there to play on people's sympathy,
Right,
angered me.
right.
Yeah. Well, and for anyone that doesn't know Nature Boy very well,
Woo!
he's all about if you're a man, you take care of your family. That includes your wife
100%.
and your kids. And you
100%.
don't make them struggle while you're sitting all up here high. He's just a good dude that just,
thanks, Jeff.
yeah, he just,
But
he's
because
about,
we have this.
he's about the family. We've had the
So
same.
that's all we can
So
relate.
his heart is huge because I don't want it, not that it's coming across harsh, but you're like, if you took that responsibility, if you have this child and this wife, you take care of them. That's your number one priority.
Right.
So my other thing with it is I appreciate the ones that will stand there and not bug you and allow you to approach them. The ones that walk by your car and stand by your window and stare at you, go away because now you're making me feel unsafe.
Right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm not going to wind down my window for you. I'm going to.
It's always an interesting. All right, Shrek has to go, so good night, Shrek.
Good night.
Good night.
It's always an interesting and it's kind of a funky situation. I do sushi Sundays, which is it's my thing. Every Sunday I get sushi. It's kind of like The Rock. That's what he does as well. So, and actually I was doing that. And I didn't even know he was doing it, but then I found out. So it's kind of like I'm doing what he does.
You're
But
like,
whatever. If I can get a body like that, I'm all in, right?
Right.
But anyway, so I was going to the sushi restaurant. Got out of the car and there was a guy there, and he was, "Hey, buddy, can you help me out?" And I rarely carry cash, so it's always with the card or what have you. So I go in and get the sushi, pay for it, and as I'm coming out, I'm thinking, I get a soup with this, but you can have the soup. So I offered it to him, like, "Hey, sir, I don't have any money, but I have this soup. Would you like the soup?" No. I'm just like, "But you just asked me for money to get something to eat. I'm offering you soup." No, I don't like it. Okay.
Okay, must not be
Like
that
it
hungry
can be.
then.
yeah. So it was funny to me because I did see him digging through the garbage looking for things. The sushi restaurant is actually right in the same block as a Market as well. So it's a lot of different restaurants and Market, Buffalo Wild Wings, everything's there, So I saw him going through the garbage and trying to get that. And I'm just like, hey, you don't have to go through the garbage. I have something for you. And he wouldn't take it. So I thought that was just weird.
I think that living in America, no one should go hungry. And I'm not saying that
part.
It's so many ways and just like the whole like McDonald's dollar menu or whatever. I can conjure up 4 quarters or whatever. I mean, not even begging. I mean, it's some things like all the food we throw away as Americans.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I just don't think there should be anyone hungry in America.
I agree.
100%.
Maybe I don't have any money, but there's means and ways for you to eat.
Yes.
So again, unless you have a mental illness, I think a lot is just I mean, drugs and things that they can't control. But again, I just feel a certain way about certain things and especially as a man. Again, as a man, excuse my French, I have the attitude. If I needed money, I would shovel shit if I had to. Hey,
do what you got to do to get where you want to get.
I think some people is on this level of, they want to start here opposed to at the bottom. It's like, it's just weird, man. But
yeah.
You get what I'm saying.
I do.
Absolutely.
I do. 100%.
And I think we both agree with you and would do the same.
Right.
Yes.
Being a single mom and having to take care of 2 kids, and you robbed Peter to pay Paul, and I would have done anything for those kids. I would have done anything for those kids to make sure that they had food. I did everything that I needed to do to make sure that those kids had food. And for anyone that thinks that the child support helped me out, no. It was like $240 a month from someone who made 6 figures. So, no, I would have done anything for my kids. So I see your point of it too. Because I had to work extra hard. I didn't, take money from people and stand out on the corner, to have someone else pay for stuff for me. So I get that too. And it infuriates me some days. It's just some, it
but
just...
you appreciate so much more.
Absolutely.
From your struggles.
Oh, absolutely. And things don't mean anything to me. People are the most important thing.
People and experiences is where it's at.
Yes, because everything else can be gone.
And
you have no control.
Right.
That's one thing that I learned is experience is priceless.
Oh, man.
Like, again...
100%.
I forget, it was a situation where somebody was going somewhere and I was questioning about the price of what their, of that journey they were going on. And, I'm always watching the money.
Yes, that's another thing we do.
Yes, we all do.
Right, and then someone just said, Nate, it's really not about the money. It's about the experience. And I gave it some thought, and I realized that money is going to come and go. But that experience is going to stay with you like forever.
Forever.
And I cherish.
And that is
priceless. And make you feel fulfilled in your life, and not like I'm at this age and this is all my life has been.
Yeah.
When you can see the movie stars and everyone else,
you got stories to tell.
Yes, right.
That's right. So I get it now. It took me a while, but I get it. Like when we used to go on vacation, I would always ruin it because I would always ask her, "Okay, well, how much was the hotel? How much was the plane ticket?" and I'm always like, "No, well, no, we're not gonna do that.
Yeah.
That's just," and I always ruin it for her. So then we had an agreement that, okay, because I realized that I was ruining it. I had to step back.
But see, that's half of it.
I had to step
the
back.
Recognition and the acknowledgement.
So we came to the agreement that she'll handle everything. I won't ask any questions, and just 2 weeks before it's time to go, she'll let me know that, hey, this trip it's all been taken care of.
Right.
And we had such a good time now
because you're not thinking about how much it cost and everything.
To the front of the hotel, are you like, how much is this a night?
5 stars, really?
But in your brain, are you like, all right, wait a second. How much a room? How much is this a night?
Yeah, so that's the only way now I realize that we can have a great time is just let her handle it. I know she's not going to do anything beyond our means.
Right.
Yeah.
And so I trust her in that. But man, I could ruin some vacations.
But you know what? You also probably healed her with some stuff too, just by trusting her.
Yeah,
That's a huge
definitely.
thing for a wife. I can say that when your husband puts faith in you and trusts you to make
That you can take
decisions
care
on
of it and
things
everything's gonna be
not
fine.
go too crazy. And so you healed not only your vacations, but probably her to a point too by handing over that
And then
trust
I
to her.
realized she got a lot of pressure on her just from like taking care of the bills and things that she's really good at. And
Yep.
she knows how to manage money really
Mhm.
good.
Right.
And so I don't question her on any of that stuff. Only time I may question her is that if I come in the house and cut the light on
And it doesn't work.
That's a problem.
Yeah,
Check
yeah.
the light bulb first.
Right, okay.
Check the light bulb first.
Yeah.
You never know.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, my wife's actually getting ready to go to Greece in I don't know, like 2 weeks or something like that. She's going for 10 days. The only reason why I'm not going is because it's right at the beginning of school.
Okay.
So the boys have school.
You're taking
and
one for the team.
I'm taking one for the team. So
Aw.
she's going and she's going to have a fantastic time. And I never even really think about, how much this is going to cost. I actually saw the flight. She's getting on one of those Lufthansa planes with the roll-out bed. It's a whole thing.
She needs someone to carry her bags.
It's a whole thing. But the one thing I say is that she works hard. She works damn hard. So I said, listen, you go, you enjoy yourself. You have a fantastic time. You get crazy, take a shit ton of pictures, and then come back refreshed
What a
and enjoy.
blessing.
Yeah.
What a blessing that is
Yeah.
for her.
Yeah.
And you'll miss her, and she'll miss you.
That's right.
When she'll
That's
come
right.
back,
Maybe
she'll be
maybe
so
she won't miss me.
thankful.
She'll find some Greek husband.
It's funny because-
She'll call me. I ain't never coming home. Yeah.
No, but because,
You know what I'm talking about?
no,
Yes.
No, but because you let her go. You let her
She'll
go.
be back.
She'll be back.
All
She'll
right.
appreciate you even
You let
more.
that bird fly, and
There
if
you
it comes
go.
home, it's
Yeah,
yours.
That's funny you say that because my wife sometimes has to let me know that, hey, I work, so I can get what I want. I work.
I do it on, yeah.
And I make more money. So I'm like, okay. You know what? You good
Wheel it
point.
back.
Good point. You're
Valid
right.
point. Got
Wrong
you.
battle, wrong battle.
Yep.
Choose your battle.
Noted.
Yep.
Gotcha.
Touche. Aw.
Oh, wow. Well, this was fantastic.
It was.
This was great.
I
So-
love sitting here and talking with you.
Yeah.
I can
Yeah.
tell.
It's so
You're in your comfort zone. You're like, I can do this all
I love
Yeah, this is
talking with
perfect.
you guys.
And-
well, because it's a rounded. We all have our own opinions, but we allow each other to have our own
Yes.
opinions.
Yes. And I think that's what we need more of in this world, to be
Yes.
quite honest with you.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, the growth you learn from people
Yes.
who haven't experienced the same things as
Yes.
you, but
Yes.
also you grow with people that have had the
Yes.
same experiences as
Yes.
you because you understand
beautiful
each
thing.
other. So if people with kindness, I'll say it every time, it costs nothing and it's everything.
There it
It
is.
just is.
There it is. And with that, we're going to say good night. Nature boy.
Woo!
New Girl Jess.
Good night.
Good night, everyone.